Welcome and thank you for attending this year's athletic banquet. We are pleased to have everyone here to celebrate an incredible year of athletics. Before we look back on every single sport during the fall, winter, and spring seasons, let's take this time to give a huge thank you to all the players, volunteers, athletic leadership students, fans, parent drivers, and most of all, the amazing coaches we have here at Port Moody Secondary. Without the dedication, effort, and experience that all of our coaches bring, athletics at Port Moody would not be possible. Pretty much all our coaches are volunteering their precious time to give back to all of us here today. Let's give a huge round of applause to all the coaches. The first sport up, cross country, probably the most nerdy and boring sport there is. From the beginning, it was a wide variety of kids joining cross country. Some that never showed up to practice and only ran meets, some that joined halfway through, and some that showed up once and never showed up again. Even with this, the team really bonded through practices and meets. Let's not look past the fact that Mr. Campbell was an unbelievable coach, not only teaching us how to run, but staying after practices to stretch and answer our questions, teaching us how to meditate the day before an important meet. We'll never forget when he would ride his bike alongside us while we were running to encourage us to keep running through the pouring rain. Sadly, Mr. Campbell is now teaching at Glen Eagle, but the passion and commitment he showed us is something we'll never forget. In the end, 3 individual seniors, as well as the junior girls team, qualified for provincials at Jericho Park and had a fun time repping Port Moody. This year, the Grade 9 girls volleyball team was sponsored by Mr. Fraser and coached by 2 Grade 12s, Anna and Aisha. They did an amazing job pretty much taking care of all the coaching responsibilities. A quote from Coach Anna. The Grade 9 girls volleyball team had loads of highlights throughout their season. Whether it was an early morning practice or a game after school, there was never a dull moment. It was a new group for everyone at the beginning, including the coaches. A quote from junior girls volleyball player Armida Bagheri. This season taught us key aspects of volleyball, such as teamwork, communication, and hustling for the ball. By the end of the season, we worked so well together as a team, and everyone contributed to the plays by getting high passes to the setter and great sets for the hitters. Those super early morning practices might have felt dreadful in the moment, but helped us improve so much. A lot of the girls enjoyed playing volleyball and decided to play on club teams as well. With our team getting closer and bonding, we will go into next season better than ever. Quote from senior girls volleyball coach Mr. Tam. This year, the senior girls had a mixed season. We played in the district league with some of the top ranked teams in the quadruple A league, including the eventual provincial champions. For the playoffs, we entered the triple A Fraser North playoffs. In the knockout stage, we lost a close game in the semifinals to Burn Creek. The team bonded well and had fun throughout the season. Congratulations to the 7 graduating seniors, and good luck to the returning players next year. A quote from junior boys volleyball player Andrew Youssef. Volleyball, definitely not the school's strongest sport, but it would have to be one of the best seasons ever. When tryouts were first held, from the looks of it, there was the widest variety of heights and skills. And from the first practice, it would look like we would go 0-3 for every game. But as the season unfolded and we got more comfortable together as a team, Natalie felt a glimpse of hope that her team had a chance of bringing back a title for PMSS. We started off the season undefeated and proved ourselves to be a formidable team. Practices started to become more productive as one could see tremendous improvement. But what would make it even better is if practices weren't held at the crack of dawn and possibly when we weren't half asleep. All I can say is that if it weren't for the referees, we would be in the playoffs. We all played a great season and had tons of fun for nearly making it undefeated. Thank you, Natalie, for your time, and we look forward to the senior volleyball season next year. A quote from senior boys volleyball player Paxton Lynn. Another successful year of volleyball. We missed out on having some seniors return to the team as practices overlapped with grade 12 IB classes. We still had an amazing turnout during tryouts and created a strong team with many guys who were in the team since grade 9. The team battled hard to qualify for Fraser North, but just fell short. Not an ideal season, but hopefully the grade 11s will fight hard for a spot next year. Congratulations to everyone who came to the early morning practices and cheered on hard as we tried to clutch up some major comebacks. Quote from junior boys soccer player Elias Ahmed. We went into tryouts in the first week of soccer and noticed that we only had one goalie. We thought that wouldn't be an issue until the senior team didn't have a goalie and they needed ours. So a gallant hero swooped in and saved the day. His name is Brody Shen. Brody carried the team from the back along with the other back line like Austin, Hanyang, Matthew, Hiran, Daniel, Luca, and more. Our team had such strong character and vibrant personalities that our attitude and drive was never an issue. We eventually made it to the Fraser Valley North quarterfinals after a season with many ups and downs. Sound like a great achievement. It certainly was to us. This was not at all what we had expected going into the season. All I know for sure is that our senior team next year and the junior team as well will also be similarly successful. The senior boys soccer team had a successful season. Coached by Mr. Roberts, the team had some tough battles throughout the season. Great job to the graduating seniors, and we hope to see all the grade 10s and 11s back next year. Junior boys basketball. This team was a mess. If we're being honest, it's just all the leftover players who didn't make the senior team. But hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone could still hoop. Junior boys basketball is coached by a trio of coaches. Coach Gianmarco, Coach Leo, and Coach Liam all brought a different perspective to the game. Barely coaching any basketball beforehand, they did an amazing job. The team did start out slow, losing a couple of games, but there was a turning point in the season where one player in particular went off. This guy I'm talking about is, of course, William Park, who played out of his mind. Bro averaged 22 points over 3 games in a week and was the first ever athlete spotlight posted on PMS's Athletics. The team barely missed out on playoffs, but I'm sure they'll be back next year, ready for revenge and a trip to senior provincials. You can count on that one for sure. Following the junior boys season, Coach Leo and Coach Liam created a grade 9 boys spring league team to get more reps up. They recruited other grade 9s and formed a team for the grade 9 boys Pine Tree Spring League. With games once a week, they had their hands full. Even without winning too many games, in fact barely any games at all, the boys still had a fun time. When I say fun, I mean it. They probably had a little too much fun actually, with some players ready to move up to the senior team next year, and some of the juniors prepping for an exciting junior season. The future of Port Moody basketball is in good hands. Senior boys basketball was a disaster. Led by a few seniors and some inexperienced grade 10s, this team reached its peak in their second game of the season. We were awful. I can only say that because I was on the team as well. No amount of practicing and discipline could save these guys. Coach Ivan and Peter tried their very best to get this team on its feet running, but there was really no point in running when you can't even walk yet. This team practiced 5 days a week for 2 hours every day, with no breaks even during winter break. Even with all the losing, which was tough, we still had a ton of fun. At a Langley tournament, we had a 30-point win, 1 out of 2 wins in the whole season, over Earl Marriott, which was one of our only and last wins. What happened afterwards was even funnier. Some girl from the stands walks up to the player of the game, Alex Gore. Asked for a Snapchat, obviously. Alex then proceeds to give Vincent Zhao's Snapchat instead of his own. Hope you guys don't mind these stories. I'm just having a lot of fun here. Back on topic, the senior boys basketball team for next year has a bright future with 5 grade 10s and a grade 9 all staying next year. They hope to make a run at AAA provincials this upcoming season. The senior girls basketball team was incredibly successful. Coached by former player and longtime coach Miss Sands, there was no way this team could go wrong. This was so close to being the year. After a re-tiering by BC School Sports, we were now a AAA school instead of Quad A. For the first time in 18 years, the girls made it into the honorable mentions of the official BC School Sports Girls Basketball Rankings, which was right outside the top 10 for AAA senior girls. The girls played spectacularly all throughout the season, marching through most of their competition. The girls were ever so close to a provincial's berth, one game off from going to the BCs, in a narrow loss to Pitt Meadows, whom they had beat twice in the regular season. This was a devastating end to the season, especially for the 3 graduating seniors. We have to give a huge shout out to Haewon Hwang, who was the leader and glue that held this team together. She will be continuing her playing career at Douglas College next season. Even with Haewon gone, most of the core players remain intact. With Miss Sands making a return next year after 38 years of coaching, this team will no doubt have a good chance at provincials once again. Ski and snowboard was surprisingly one of the most anticipated sports. Sponsored by Mr. Kirby and Mr. Clark, these two were such a dynamic duo. I commend them for not only getting everyone back to school in one piece with no lost body parts, but they also made sure we got back on time. Huge thank you to both of them as well for getting everyone hoodies to remember the season. The skiing and snowboarding trips themselves were definitely something to remember. 6 full-day trips to Whistler and back was beyond fun. 6 a.m. bus rides with the boys, breaking the Whistler Blackcomb cafeteria system with their $20 lunch vouchers and day pass discounts, arriving way too early for races, and we can't forget the complete wipeouts. We all explored Whistler and Blackcomb, from the ice caves to the secret powder runs to the fastest lift lines. Although a trip to provincials wasn't possible, this ski and snowboard season was truly a season to remember. A quote from wrestling coach Mr. Tam. We had a great turnout for wrestling this year with most of our team in grades 9 and 10. Unfortunately, the season was interrupted in December due to the Omicron variant. Many chose not to compete and training was limited. 2 weeks before the zone qualifiers, practices were again permitted, so training resumed. At the Fraser North zones, we had very good results considering that most of our wrestlers were first year. We qualified 5 for the provincials. The girls team placed 7th at provincials, led by Ella Finding, who won gold for her weight class. She later competed at the national team trials and placed first, so she will represent Canada and the Cadet Pan Am Championships in Argentina. Congratulations. We look forward to next year as everyone on the team will be returning. Frisbee is a brand new sport at Port Moody. In fact, we're one of the only Coquitlam schools to have it. Coached by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sahab Ansari, the ultimate season was the epitome of fun. At the start of the season, a grand total of 1 person knew how to throw a Frisbee properly. By the end of the season, nearly the whole team could throw proper forehand throws. Even without anyone knowing how to chuck Frisbees, we won our first 2 games. From that point on, we lost a bunch of close games and had some great battles. There were many injuries throughout the season, and we weren't able to get back to the best version of the team in the first week. But through all the losses afterwards, our coach Sahab stayed consistent. He's a full-time student at UBC and was still one of the most dedicated coaches I've ever personally met. The guy is a full-time student, part-time ultimate coach, and still made the commitment to coach some random school in Port Moody and their junior ultimate team, driving all the way to here to coach a bunch of undedicated kids who didn't show up to practices. That includes me. Overall, the junior ultimate team was still a success, introducing this incredibly fun sport to the school. The senior ultimate team was also really inexperienced. Coached by Paul Ferguson, the team bonded immediately. Made up of a lot of graduating seniors, the team was all about fun. Sometimes I would ask for final scores after a game, and Oren wouldn't even remember because they were having too much fun. The team won a few sparing games throughout the season, which is pretty good for a brand new ultimate program. Huge thank you to Paul, Amy, and Kieran Ferguson for starting the ultimate team at Port Moody. We can all agree that we had fun, and that's what the game of ultimate is all about. Completely self-refereed, It's all about the integrity, selflessness, and spirit that moves the game forward. Golf team coach Mr. Tam. This year's golf team was one of our most successful in many years. The junior boys team won the district championships by 68 strokes over the second place team. Jason Yang broke the low grass record with a 66. We followed up with a second place finish at the senior district championships in very difficult conditions. We ended the season winning the Fraser North senior championships by 19 strokes. Unfortunately, we did not compete at the provincials this year, but we look forward to next year as most of our players are returning. The tennis team was coached by Miss Greenwood this year. The team had some strong outings and played well in their limited matches. A bunch of the games had to be canceled due to the poor weather. The team did qualify for provincials, but not enough players were able to make it, unfortunately. Hoping for better weather next year and a run at provincials again. Track and field season has been a massive success so far. With the relatively small number of Blues athletes competing compared to the other schools, a huge number of them have qualified for provincials, which in fact is happening right now until Saturday. The team had weekly practices at Percy Perry Stadium in preparation for 2 guaranteed meets in the season. A large majority of the athletes then qualified for the Fraser North meet and eventually the provincial championships. Mr. Sawchuk has done an amazing job coordinating the team and getting everyone organized. Although we all know him as the extremely organized and strict teacher that gives grade 9s a hard time, Mr. Sawchuk as a track coach is a really likable guy. Trust me on this one, guys. He sent out incredibly organized emails with reminders to sign up deadlines, outstanding fees, jersey pickups, which made sure no one missed any information. I would say congrats on a great track season, but the season isn't over quite yet. As we are speaking right now, the track and field provincial championships are happening. Best of luck to all our Blues athletes competing, and we hope to bring home some hardware in the upcoming days. Coached by Mr. Roberts and Mr. Valente, the senior girls soccer team was successful. Made up of players from all grades, the team still bonded well and had some memorable experiences. Congrats to the graduating seniors, and good luck to all the returning players next year. Quote from Mr. Fraser, who was the girls rugby team coach. The girls rugby team had a very successful season. This is the first time since 2013 that we've had a girls rugby team. As our numbers were small, we joined the 7-a-side league, and the girls learned very fast. Most of them had never played before, so I'm very proud of their accomplishments. Everyone seemed a little more comfortable and improved with every game. We finished the season with a tournament at Burnby Lake where the girls won their first game and placed 4th out of 5 teams. Well done, everyone, and congrats on a great season. The junior badminton team was nothing short of dominant, winning in convincing fashion all throughout the district regular season. The team won the Coquitlam District banner and Fraser North banner as well. There were no provincials for junior badminton, but I'm sure this team will kill it next year moving up to senior. This brings us to the last sport for today. As for senior badminton, this was one of the most successful athletics teams this year. A quote from senior badminton captain and senior boys athlete of the year, Paxton Lynn. An insane end to the badminton season. The qualifying game for provincials ended in tears with a 5-6 loss, but luck came to us when a school dropped out. The senior badminton team was hit hard with 5-6 losses, but nothing could stop our cheering and ability to push through the losses. After finishing 12th in provincials, the badminton season was still a success. Shout out to the individual dubs from Grace, Christine, Emma, Robert, Paxton, Kevin, and Arnav during districts and Fraser North. The crazy prank calls and sportsmanship from the other teams glued the Port Moody senior team together like flex tape. Memories were made alongside wins. Seniors are hopeful that the juniors will carry on the legacy of the badminton team at Port Moody. With that, this concludes the athletic banquet presentation video. Sorry for making you guys watch all of this. I want to give a last thank you to everyone who sent in pictures, videos, and captions to make this video possible. Enjoy the rest of the athletic banquet, everyone, and congrats one last time on an amazing year of athletics.